Well, hello. Today we are going to be talking about 7 reasons to write historical fiction. Thank you for joining me today. Just because I get the question asked a lot, why do you want to write historical fiction? And stick around to the end of the video because I'm also going to try to give an update on my first novel, which is a historical fiction. So one of the first reasons is if you're a person who would like to get to the truth. And I am one of those people. I believe that there's a lot of true stories that we have not heard, and that involves a lot of things in our past. So historical fiction is a way to try to get to the truth of certain things, especially with so many books being banned and so many authors trying to retrace the steps of our historical past. And unfortunately, at least in America, that history has not always been truthful. So I like to write historical fiction, and I implore you to write it if there are some things that you may want to uncover that could lead to the truth. Another great reason is to teach others at the same time. When you're looking at historical events and things of that nature, there are a lot of things that you can actually teach to others once you've learned them and hopefully learned correctly. For me, I wanted to teach my grandchildren. I wanted to teach my children. I wanted to teach other people in my community that may not, know certain things. So that was a reason for me to want to write historical fiction. A great reason to write historical fiction is to try to resolve things that have not been resolved in our history. Historical fiction becomes a way for you to look at certain puzzles and try to resolve those issues. Many times today, we have to look in the past to say, okay, what have we used in the past that could possibly help the problems that are occurring in the present? And so historical fiction is a way to try to resolve some issues that we've had a resolution for in the past, and we can resolve those things using that information. One of my favorite reasons for writing historical fiction is to honor those who have come before us, whether that is an ancestor or people who have done heroic things, people who have just been in world events. It is a way to connect the present with the past and to honor those, look at that legacy of what people have done and how they got through their daily lives. And it gives you hope that you can get through your daily life. And so honoring people is just a wonderful way and a wonderful reason to write historical fiction. Along with being able to teach others about history, it is a great way to learn history. Being able to look at those different events, look at what people did, how daily life was going, new medical breakthroughs were going on back then, the art world, or any of that. Learning to even pick up things we may not have thought about before that can now help us in the present. And so learning through historical fiction is great. I will make a caveat with this, that learning historical fiction and teaching history based on historical fiction can be a little bit tricky. You want to be able to read something and kind of vet the author to make sure that what they're stating is and what you're teaching about history is not the fiction part, but the actual part and the truth that was maybe never discovered before that is now open and ready for discovery. And so learning history is very much a reason to write historical fiction. I love to do research, and strengthening your skills by writing historical fiction is a great way to learn how to do research and to get adept at it, to practice it, to strengthen it. Because as you're going through the process of writing a historical fiction, there are many things that you're going to be researching, or rather should be researching. And the more you can practice that, the more you will be able to hone your own research skills. So strengthening your research skills, doing research, getting into the weeds of things is a great reason to actually write historical fiction. And I could not leave off the best reason to write historical fiction, and that is to have fun, to enjoy certain time periods that we cannot live, but we're able to see through the eyes of those who write about it and through the eyes of actual persons, actual events. So if you want to time travel, if you just want to jump around, if you want to just maybe take a moment from the present day stuff or even future things that you're thinking about, writing a historical fiction will help you to do that and will give others a reason to time travel with you. So yeah, that's my top reason for writing historical fiction. And now we come to a great moment that I love in the videos, and I hope you love too, and that is our channel shout out. So please look at the channels and give your support. Okay, so let's talk about this book. I'm writing a historical fiction, okay? It is set within the Reconstruction/Redemption era, which is about 1865 up to like early 1880s, late 1870s, okay? Yeah. I love writing the book. It has been difficult, or I have made it a little bit more difficult than it probably needs to be, because I am one of those kind of people who believes that when you're writing historical fiction, the real event should be accurate for the information that we know. All right. So basically, we know that the Civil War was fought. There's no doubt about that. Okay. There's no doubt slavery was abolished in America. Those are things that are not to be changed, okay? What we don't know are some of the underlying stories of what people experienced during that time that have never been told. And so when I think about writing historical fiction, I want to get the events that are not changeable mixed in with the event that we knew nothing about, that we are now learning about. And so I'm taking more time to do the research on the events that were actual, the story part about people's lives based on things that were going on, feeling, oral histories that I've been able to research of people who were marginalized back in that time period. The research part has been wide, right? And so trying to whittle that down and make it succinct and put in the pieces and parts that are applicable to my story has been a little bit challenging. Fun, but challenging. Also, I am thinking of putting a couple of subplots into the story and trying to put the subplots in without taking away from the main plot, the main character's feelings and internal things going on, again, has been a little bit challenging because I don't like, well, nobody does. I don't like flat stories. I like description. I like action. I like the feelings. So this is probably what people would deem a more character-driven book. Again, it's going to be a historical literary fiction, and so those are normally more character-driven versus plot-driven. And I'm hoping to do 2 subplots. Maybe put that down to 1. I'm trying to choose between a romantic subplot and a mystery subplot. Probably will do the romantic subplot because I feel a little bit more comfortable with that. In the meantime, in between time, I have been going through an organization process, and I'm about 65% done with the book. I am past the quote-unquote soggy middle. I do know where the rest of the book is going. I certainly know the ending of the book. It's about 15% that I'm still a little bit, I can do something with that. And what I'm going to do right now, I don't have a clue. Nope, don't have a clue. But I got a couple of ideas, and so I'm trying to work with that. Sometimes you have to write some chapters that may make sense when you write them out and you try to put them into what you've already written. It kind of doesn't make sense. And so, yeah, I've had a couple of chapters go like that. It's fine though, because I'm getting practice. Listen, nothing is negative when it comes to writing. If you write a chapter and you have to discard it, that's okay, because you might be able to use it for another book, which I might, or you needed that practice anyway, and you're able to recognize that that's not what I need to do right now. And I'm just happy that I can recognize some things that I'm trying to do that would not work, that would not fit. I don't know if that's because I'm an avid reader. I don't know if it's because I've looked at other people's work to help them as a beta reader, sensitivity reader. But sometimes I critique myself as I would one of my clients, and that has been very helpful for me. Also, in the middle of writing the book, there are a couple of chapters I feel really good about, and so I took a chance, submitted some to a couple of writing contests. Now, have I done this before? Yes, I have. And was I rejected? Yes, I was. Was I accepted? Yes, I was. And so you kind of learn from that too. I don't want to just think of writing in a vacuum. I do want to start to put my work out to get opinions of other people. And let me be clear, opinions, okay? Listen to opinion, but make your own choice. I hope that makes sense. There are a lot of people out here with a lot of wisdom. There are a lot of people out here with a lot of crap. And so when you feel like you've gotten some great information, or you feel like you haven't been seeing what people are telling you, but multiple people are telling you that, you might want to take a look at that. Writing is such a learning process, and that's probably one of the reasons why I love to write, because I always want to learn. If I could not learn for the rest of my life, it would be like putting a dagger in my heart. I tell no lie. If I cannot read for the rest of my life, that would probably be slow as death for me. And so I want to make sure that people who read my work enjoy it, they get something from it, whether it's emotional, something they didn't know before, their history or another culture's history or something like that, right? And so that is how the book is coming along. I'm pretty proud of it. I will say, and I don't know if this is happening to y'all, but I started it off with one point of view. Child, I have changed it to a totally different point of view. Okay? Totally different point of view. And I kind of had to, because the way the story was, I feel like it would be more impactful that way, but you know, we'll see, whatever. I'm not about being rigid, but I am about being accurate, and I am about making an impact. And so I'll be sending out some things to a couple of beta readers soon, but yeah, I'm very excited. Oh yeah, one other thing, I'm writing a short story. I believe when you're a first-time writer, doing something separate from your main project could help you, can hone your skills. I know that I'm a long-winded person. I know y'all know. Okay. And so I thought that trying to explore writing a short story to get that conciseness in would help me in my novel writing. And I will say that it has, because you only have a certain limited amount of space and time to write it. And I do put myself on a deadline for the short stories because I need to, right? I'm on a self-imposed deadline for my novel, but I can be more lenient with that, so to speak. But absolute deadline with the short story, and I'm like, you know what? This is when I want it done. This is what it's going to be about, and this is the word count. And so sometimes challenging your to do things that may feel a little bit challenging for you is a good thing. So wish me luck or my short story, because woo, I applaud these people who can write these short stories. God bless them. Anywho, I just want to thank you guys for joining me today as usual. I'm so excited about the book, and I just want everybody who has never thought of historical fiction to think about it, to you know, so many time periods, there's so many ways to time travel, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful genre to write in. So thank you for joining me.